Hello everyone, welcome to Crash Course. My name is Dr. Brian Aschenfelder, and sustainability is my business. So, you're a filmmaker, or at least you're someone who voluntarily subjects yourself to sleep deprivation, existential doubt, and the emotional roller coaster of asking your friends to redo takes because you forgot to hit the record button. It's okay, we've all been there. But today, I want to talk to you about implementing sustainable filmmaking, specifically the Peachy checklist. And if you're thinking, the what now? I say, welcome, newcomer. I know it sounds like something from the Georgia Tourism Board, but Peachy is actually the Production Environmental Actions Checklist. In theory, it is a guide for reducing the environmental impact of your films. In theory, because in practice, some student filmmakers will open Peachy, take one look at the dozens of actions and go, welp, guess I'll just go cry into my pillow now. You see, Peachy is full of things like use reusable dishes and power your set with battery packs. And if you're working on a student budget, which is famously just whatever I found in my couch cushions, you might read that and think, buddy, my whole set is 3 cardboard boxes, a clamp light, and a prayer. Well, I'm here to tell you that's fine, because today I want to talk about intent.
You've got your reputation and your good intent. Your good intent.
Peachy has a ton of little actions, but Peachy does not tell you the intent of those actions. It's like someone gave you a long list of step-by-step instructions with no explanation of what you're trying to accomplish. Imagine if someone handed you baking instructions like rotate egg 17 degrees counterclockwise. Why? What for? Does the egg explode if I don't? If you don't know the reason behind the action, then the action stops being helpful. It just becomes a rule that you feel like you're breaking. But when you know the intent, the desired final outcome, you gain power. You can improvise, you can adapt, you can say, okay, I don't have access to that action, but I do know what the action was trying to achieve, so what can I do with what I do have? This is the whole concept behind the military phrase, no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Because as in battle, in filmmaking, no production plan survives contact with the crew. Because if people know the goal, they can improvise in ways that still get you there. Because it's college football season, and because metaphors are fun, let's think about Peachy like a giant football playbook. If you've ever looked at a football playbook, it's basically a collection of extremely complicated diagrams that all look like someone dropped spaghetti onto a page and then circled it. Players have to memorize hundreds of plays. But when they know just the intent, they can keep on track even when things go awry. If the coach says, we intend to pass for more than 300 yards today, the team suddenly knows the energy, the strategy, and the shape of the game. And when players know the intent, what can they do? They can call audibles, adapt on the fly, change the plan to something that's different but still meets the goal. Because intent frees you to be creative. Likewise, Peachy gives you the plays, but Peachy does not tell you the coach's intent. So you look at all these plays and go, I'm not sure which ones apply to my production, or how am I supposed to do any of these with $9 and a dream? But here's the truth. You may lose the ability to execute individual Peachy actions, but you never lose the responsibility to achieve the intent. So what is the intent behind sustainable filmmaking? I've reviewed all of the actions in Peachy and grouped them into just a few plain language categories. If Peachy stated its intent directly, it might sound something like this. 1. Use products that avoid habitat destruction. We want fewer trees chopped down and fewer ecosystems wrecked in order to make our films. Believe it or not, where you buy paper and what you serve for snacks could unknowingly contribute to the mowing down of trees in the Amazon. 2. Use products that are safe for humans. We want your crew not to breathe toxins, drink toxins, or be near toxins that sound like they belong in a Marvel movie. From non-toxic to cruelty-free, what we put in us and on us needs to be documented safe. 3. Dispose of hazardous materials safely, because paint, batteries, solvents, and adhesives should not end up in the dumpster behind the film department like some sort of toxic piñata. 4. Minimize waste and material use, because buying new stuff to use once and throw away is passé, and also terrible for the planet. There are tons of actions that implore us to rent, borrow, reuse, and donate to keep useful stuff in use. 5. Maximize recycling and composting, because recovering valuable materials is better than throwing everything into the same bag like it's a weird environmental smoothie. 6. Use less electricity, because your film does not actually need to be powered by the combined output of 3 small nations. And 7. Use less fossil fuel, because gas burning generators and lots of vehicle trips are basically little climate change machines. So if you notice, these intents are purposefully broad. They don't tell you what to do, they tell you how to think. And once you understand the intent, something magical happens. You're free. Not free to do nothing, sorry, but free to improvise. Here's some examples to show how this plays out. One action asks, did you use FSC certified lumber? The intent of this one is to reduce habitat destruction. Lumber from unidentified origins often comes from areas that cut down rainforests to get it. You don't have access to FSC certified plywood? Fine. Can you reuse something from last year's shoot? Rebuild a set from found materials? Just make sure you've done what you can to ensure you didn't contribute to the deforestation with your decision. Boom, intent met. Another action asks, did you provide refillable water bottles? The intent of this one is to minimize waste and material use. Not only are they filling up the landfills, but those single-use water bottles are ending up in the background of all of your shots.
Someone over in the Downton family could be in big trouble after a very modern plastic water bottle made its way onto one of the show's official publicity photos.
You don't have access to a water source on location? Can you buy a bulk water source instead of individual bottles? Or maybe just choose a different wasteful material to reduce? Great, intent met. And a third action asks, did you make at least 50% of the lighting package LED? The intent of this is to use less electricity, so you don't have control over the lights in your facility. Guess what? Neither do most student productions. But can you shoot more outside using natural light? Or turn something else off that was wasting electricity? See, it's not about checking specific boxes. It's about aiming toward the goal. Why does this matter? Knowing the intent behind sustainable actions makes you more flexible, more creative, more powerful, and less likely to panic sweat when looking at a checklist. We do sustainability not because a document told us to, but because filmmaking has consequences beyond the frame. And we get to choose whether those consequences are harmful or thoughtful. Intent gives you a direction. When you know the why, you can invent the how. And if the improvisation isn't perfect, that's okay. Filmmaking is literally a series of imperfect attempts that accumulates into something beautiful. Sustainability works the same way. We don't need a handful of people doing everything perfectly. We need millions of people attempting lots of things imperfectly. So here's the secret. Peachy gives you the plays, its intent tells you the game plan. When you know the intent, you can call audibles, you can adapt, you can face the chaos of filmmaking, which will absolutely happen, probably before lunch, and still make choices that move your production in the right direction. Because ultimately, sustainability isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about intention. And once you understand the intent behind sustainable filmmaking, you can improvise your way to victories, big and small on set. Even if your production is just 3 people, which honestly sounds kind of sustainable already. So go forth, make movies, take care of your crew, and take care of the planet. And remember, the best tool you have isn't a checklist, it's your intent.